If you are a lover of nature wildlife, then there is a high chance that you've been on a safari, or at the very least, you've had it on your bucket list. Safaris are a nice way to get in touch with nature, and many people find it fun and relaxing. However, safari don't always go according to plan. After all, wild animals don't exactly follow a given script. Once in a while, things go wrong when an animal decides to attack the tourist, and sometimes these attacks are caught on camera. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 10 times that safaris have gone wrong and were caught on camera. It's going to be an interesting watch, so make sure that you wait until the end. Let's get into it. Number 15. Elephant Attack Safari. Elephant sizes make them one of the top animals which tourists look out for when on safari. And sometimes they do attack. And when they do, it is not pretty. A group of tourists was being chased by an angry elephant. They did try to run away, but the elephant refused to give up. Unable to catch any one of the tourists, it then proceeds to destroy their card. And the tourists found out that day, it doesn't take an elephant much work to destroy a car. In another video, we see an elephant effortlessly roll a car with barely any effort. And in yet another video, we see an elephant trample on a car and destroy it. Hiding in a car will not save you from an angry elephant. Of course, elephants aren't always violent. In a video that quickly went viral, we see Alan McSmith, who is one of the top safari guides in Africa, hauled an elephant in its tracks without so much as moving a muscle. Incredible, isn't it? Number 14. Rhino Attack Safari. Several people have had horrible experiences with these aggressive animals and had barely managed to escape. 24-year-old student Chantal Bear can testify to that she was on a safari trip with her boyfriend, and they were taking pictures with rhinos in the background. You know, typical touristy stuff. But then they got a little too close to the rhinos, and the rhinos ended up attacking them, leaving Bear with a punctured lung and broken ribs. Some videos show safari tourists encountering rhinos, and the rhinos attack with no provocation. It feels like the mere sight of the tourist is enough for provocation of the rhinos, who ended up attacking their car with their sharp horns and more than one occasion had managed to overturn the cars. And in another, more scarier video, it shows a rhino attacking two men in an open buggy car. One of the men did manage to escape and climb up a tree, but that did nothing to deter the rhino, who was determined to do him bodily harm. Number 13. Lions Attack Safari. Odds are when you hear about a safari gone wrong, the first animal that springs into your mind is the lion, as lions do get a lot of bad media because they have done far more of their fair share to harm on safaris. Catherine Chappell, a special effects editor who was working on big-name projects like Game of Thrones, was attacked and killed by a lion while on a trip to a zoo park in Johannesburg. Was on a story when they had spotted lioness in the midst of what it appeared to be a heated argument. If lions could argue that is, fortunately, they were smart enough to stay away from the action, and nobody got hurt. There's a lot of videos that have been circulating on the internet that show lions trying to get into people's cars on a safari. Most of these people were smart enough to have their doors locked, and the lion soon left when they were unable to get into the car. I don't think the lions were trying to get into the car to say, "Hello, what do you think?" Let us know in the comments section down below. Number 12. Leopard Attack Safari. Video footage shows a leopard running through a safari at top speed toward a group of tourists. Luckily, the windows were up and the doors were locked so it couldn't get in. Another video shows tourists in a buggy car with leopards just casually reclining on the roof. And while tourists didn't seem to be in danger, they did look frozen with fear. Yet another video shows a leopard engaged in a brutal battle with the driver of a safari vehicle. The driver was injured in the fight, but he did survive. Hey, at least he got a cool story out of it. Not many people can claim to have fought a leopard. Number 11. Gorilla Attack Safari. Now, unlike hippos, people actually do have at least a rough idea of how violent a gorilla can be. While a lot of gorillas have been successfully trained to live with humans, odds are that the gorilla that you will meet in a safari is nothing close to a tame one, which makes sense due to the fact that the entire point of a safari is to see nature as it is in its natural state. A group of safari cruisers was standing around watching a pair of gorillas when both gorillas got into a fight. In the middle of the fight, one of the gorillas roughly shoves a woman because she was in the way. Luckily, she wasn't injured, but it could have been a lot worse. In another instance, a group of people on a safari were taking pictures of a group of gorillas. You know, normal stuff that you do on a safari. One of the gorillas then walked up to them and grabbed a man by the leg and began to pull him away. He may have been injured if others hadn't sprang into action. Number 10. Tiger attack safari. Tigers aren't exactly known for being friendly towards humans or well towards any other animals, for that matter. This video has been viewed millions of times online, and it shows a mother parking her car in the middle of the road and stepping out. Moments later, a tiger showed up and grabs her in the forest and out of range of the camera. It shows just how dangerous these animals can be. And apart from being dangerous, tigers are also quite fearless. A group of men were riding an elephant on a safari when a tiger came running and tried to attack them. Luckily, they managed to drive the tiger away and escaped unhurt. Imagine being on a safari bus and a group of tigers decides to attack your bus. Sounds scary, right? Well, a group of safari tourists were probably shaking from fear when a pack of tigers surrounded their bus and had tried to get in. They were unable to do so, and the tourists breathed a sigh of relief. Number 9. Buffalo attack safari. Buffaloes are dangerous even if you think they're experts. Things can go really super wrong. In South Africa, Claude came in as a hunter with years of experience who was attacked and killed by a buffalo after he killed a member of its herd. That being said, you do not want to face an enraged buffalo. A pair of safari tourists learned this lesson whenever an angry buffalo attacked them in their buggy car and they barely managed to escape. Another video recorded by a tourist shows some tourist being chased by an enraged buffalo. Yet another video shows an angry buffalo chasing a buggy safari of workers along with tourists who were smart enough to keep away from the animal, eventually leaving it in the dust. Number 8. Crocodile attack safari. Crocodiles are dangerous, and there is no arguing that even though they can be quite interesting to view from afar, you would do well to avoid getting too close to them because they won't hesitate to take a bite out of you. Unless you're Steve Irwin, you probably don't know how to deal with crocs. So your best bet is to not come in contact with one that wants to eat you. A pair of safari workers were cleaning a crocodile's teeth when it had decided that it would very much like to take a bite out of them and attack them. Suddenly they escaped unharmed, and the croc slid into the water without a snack. In the footage, we see two female tourists taking pictures by a body of water when a crocodile suddenly leaps up in each one of them. This is not a pretty sign at all. Number 7. Giraffe attack safari. Giraffes are massive animals and they're kind of tall too. How would you feel being chased by a giraffe in this next clip? Watch this giraffe take long strides to try and catch up to this jeep in the jungle. Is the giraffe upset, or is it just going through its morning workout? This next chase seems like the real thing. The giraffe looks upset and is running full speed ahead, trying to catch up to this jeep. It runs right past the jeep and forces the jeep to go in reverse. The giraffe continues the chase but eventually slows down. I think the giraffe just wanted to give these friendly tourists a guided tour of the African savanna. In our next clip, a giraffe circles what seems to be an already damaged Range Rover. The hood of the car is messed up and so is the fronts. I guess the giraffe wasn't kidding around. Giraffes are usually friendly. Number 6. Jaguar attack safari. Jaguars are beautiful cats, but they can be lethal when confronted. Just like this incident where a woman was attacked and seriously injured by this jaguar, Bowman tried to take a selfie with the cat by jumping over the zoo's barrier so she could be as close as possible to the animal's cage when the animal grabbed her arm. What a dumb thing to do. The woman managed to distract the big cat by making noise with her water bottle. The cat heard the noise and let go her arm, but the damage was already done. The woman ended up with serious cuts and wounds and required quite a lot of stitching up. This next clip looks scary. The jaguar is sneaking up on a man who has no clue what's right behind him. Number 5. Chimp attack safari. Chimps are not very big, but they are 4 times stronger than a man. And if they decide to get into a scuffle with you, it's better that you leave them alone unless you want to end up like this student who was attacked by 2 chimps. Andrew Orbital approached a chimp enclosure and the chimps grabbed his legs and dragged him under the fence. This created enough space under the fence for them to escape and drag him 100 into the grass. Someone working at the center fired a shot and hit one chimp, scaring the other 2 away. The damage was already done and Andrew Orbital had to spend 6 hours in surgery. The next woman was attacked by Chance, who disfigured her so much she had to go under for a face transplant. What a horrible experience that must have been. Watch these chimps as they manhandle a few workers at a rehabilitation facility. They're throwing them around like they were dolls. This next chimp goes bananas and decides to attack one of the people who was sitting at the table with "Where is this place?" who brings a chimp out for lunch. Our last clip shows an escaped chimp bouncing off of electrical wires trying to attack the hydroman. It almost looks like a circus act until the chimp is shot down with a tranquilizer gun and falls down, holding himself with one arm, eventually falling to the ground. Number 4. Crocodile Attack Safari. Crocodiles are terrifying animals, and it's the last animal you want chasing you. Even if the person knows the crocodile well, they are so unpredictable. Just like this video proves when a trainer in Thailand almost had his head decapitated by a friendly crocodile. When you have friends like this who needs enemies, our next video shows a crocodile jumping out of the water eating a teenager. Did that really happen? Or was it CGI? If it did happen, then I feel really bad for the poor girl. This photographer got the scare of his life when a few crocodiles people were feeding decided that crocodiles are not to be messed with, in my opinion. Number 3. Monkeys, baboons, and tack safari. The worst animals you can come across when visiting an open cage. Safari are the monkeys, specifically the baboons. They will jump on your car and damage anything they can. Watch these monkeys destroy the wipers on this car. They just have no respect for someone else's property. Our next clip shows about 15 monkeys surrounding a car. They manage to open a suitcase on the roof of the car and grab everything inside. They put on the clothes and play around with it. It's total mayhem. The monkeys are not dangerous to human safety because everyone is in their car. But the damage they inflict on the cars is insane. These baboons enter this car and destroy it. I don't understand what the goal of this experiment is, but I ask myself, what do the experimenters expect for the monkeys to get inside the car and drive off? Number 2. Otter Attack Safari. Otters are the cutest, but they can also be quite dangerous if you're not careful. Watch how this teenager handles this angry otter. The kid is standing on a log and he's in otter territory, so the otter definitely has the advantage. The kid finally jumps into the water and escapes. Our last clip shows a woman who was attacked by an otter who almost sliced your ear off and bit her hands. Otters are adorable as long as they're not too close to you. Lastly, number 1. Hippo Attack Safari. It might shock you to learn that the deadliest animal in the world is actually the hippopotamus. Now, this might seem hard to believe because many of us see hippos as calm and gentle creatures that don't often pose a danger or threat to many humans. Many folks have had a lot of unpleasant experiences with hippos and barely managed to survive. For example, a Florida woman was badly injured by hippo when she was on an African safari with her husband. They were canoeing on the Zambezi River when their canoe was attacked and capsized by a hippo. She was badly injured and would have been killed if the tour guides hadn't sprung quick on action. Unfortunately, philanthropist Carl Kirkin was not that lucky. She was attacked and killed by a hippo on an African safari. So there you have it. Those are some real-life footage of safaris gone wrong. Safaris can be fun, but at the same time, they can also be dangerous if proper care is not taken. Fortunately, most of the situations were not fatal, and the tourists did manage to escape unscathed.